So quiet energy is something that I have always thought about for myself and for other highly sensitive introverted type people that I work with or that I come across who just have a certain kind of energy about them that you can't necessarily explain, and it just is my way of kind of trying to understand it and word it. And I hadn't really realized before that this wasn't super clear until I ran an online workshop called Quiet Energy a little while ago, and a friend said to me afterwards, I didn't realize or couldn't really understand what you meant by quiet energy until I tuned in and actually saw you talking and came to understand that that's exactly who you are and what you bring. And so I thought today I would talk a little bit more about what quiet energy is and how I kind of have come to understand it and define it. One of my favorite quotes is from the book Insight by Beth Buelow, really talking about introverted energy, but what I've come to call it quiet energy because I really think that it encompasses empaths and highly sensitive people as well, is what she said as, my energy isn't low or high, it's mine. My unique and positive presence. My energy is calm, attentive, curious, and centered. That's what is authentic to me. It's an energy that has its own power and magnetism, no better or worse than an energy that spins visibly faster. Now, what I've come to learn about being an introvert, empath, and highly sensitive person is that calm isn't always the best way to describe us. When we're not taking care of ourselves, when we don't have proper boundaries in place, when we've kind of been out in the world too much and haven't really had those clear needs met that lower our stimulation level and make us feel energized and really good, then calm and peaceful is probably not the best way to describe us. When there's any kind of stress or emotional trauma involved, that is probably not an accurate representation. But what I really love about this quote is kind of the natural state of being of a highly sensitive, introverted, empathic person, is this quiet presence, this calmness, this ability to sit quietly in a room observing what's going on and then be able to have insights that are maybe different from those who have kind of needed to talk out loud and have big ideas and have bigger energy. And so that's how I've really come to understand what quiet energy is. This to me has helped me to understand not only how it is to operate and work in the world, but also when I see myself comparing myself to my more extroverted, less sensitive counterparts, to my friends, to my family, to my partner, and my co-workers and peers in the kind of online business space. Understanding that my quiet energy is maybe different and unique to be different from theirs, which is going to have a different outcome based on how quickly they might put something out versus it might take me a little bit longer, or the fact that they might so easily put themselves out into the world, whereas I need a little bit more of a pep talk and need to really create different kinds of strategies and approaches in order to get the results that I'm looking for. Now, I'm hopefully going to be doing a little bit more about human design moving forward, and definitely going to get some experts in to talk about this really interesting way of understanding ourselves and our energy. But for myself personally, I'm what's called a projector. And so this adds another layer onto the kind of quiet energy, the things that I need to really thrive, the strengths that I have, and the kind of innate abilities that I have. And so every little bit of information that we collect, every little nuance, every little key indicator really comes from a level of awareness, of knowing what we need in any given moment, of being aware of when the energy is too much, when we've been out and about for too long, when we need some downtime to come back to ourselves and re-energize, when something is going on that's affecting one of our senses, which is just making us hit that level of stimulation that's no good, when there are people around who are maybe overstepping our boundaries and we're taking on their energy, emotions, and sensations. These are the things of being an introvert, empath, or highly sensitive person that if you click the card, you'll be able to see a bit more of a breakdown about what it means to be each of those things. And like I talk about in that video, there are nuances to each, and also we can be a combination of one or all of the three aspects. So make sure you check that one out. Now, quiet energy to me is very much around actually just being really present and aware in your body at any given moment. I know for myself personally, when I'm too much in my head, when I haven't been taking care of myself, when I'm really stressed, or I haven't maybe had a conversation that I needed to have, or when I've got things in the back of my mind that I know that I should have been doing that I've been avoiding, when I am out and about and it's just too loud or too many people, or it's been too long before I've had that downtime for myself, what is normally my quiet energy that you really do start to feel when you really start to tap into it and be aware of it becomes kind of like a tired, angry, frustrated mess of a person. Now, it might be different for you. That's just my personal kind of circumstances. I know when I'm hungry, I am kind of a monster. And so I'm definitely not in my optimal place where my quiet, calm, peaceful energy is at its best. And I'm definitely the opposite of that. I'm more like a toddler throwing a tantrum. But what I've really come to understand is that in knowing these things about myself, I can tap in when I start to realize that I'm getting really super frustrated. Sometimes we can immediately identify it. Other times we've maybe kind of got ourselves into a bit of a mess, starting to feel really emotional, starting to kind of snap at other people in our lives, or just kind of want to run away and hide. And the more that we get into a state of practicing awareness around what's really going on here, why am I suddenly feeling like this? Am I hungry? Are the lights too bright? Have I been overthinking something? Have I been stressing about something that I really just need to talk to someone about, or I really just need to acknowledge, or I really just need to deal with? Do I need to eat some food? Sometimes we don't know the answer, and so it's just kind of a trial and error until something works. For me personally, I know that it's usually food, and the minute I eat something, I become like a normal person again. But the important thing is that we kind of just have this awareness about ourselves. We know what's going on. Our nervous systems are super sensitive and can sometimes be triggered by things that are really unconscious, past experiences that warn us that we're not safe, and we go into kind of fight, flight, or freeze mode. The more that we have awareness around these things, the more that we come to understand what we've been through, what we're going through, what works for us, what triggers us, what really makes us kind of uncomfortable and emotional. What's going on outside of us that we can be more aware of, and not just get into that tunnel vision where we can't even see because we're just like so overstimulated. The more that we have awareness around these things, the easier it becomes to start just going, okay, I need to check the lights, I need to eat some food, I need to have a conversation, I need to write down what's stressing me out so I can really hone in on what's going on, and then start to fix it. Because so many of us go through our lives just in that reactive mode, just being driven by our minds and our nervous systems and our past experiences and our past pain, that the more we come to understand, the more we deal with those things, the more that we sort of identify and acknowledge it, the better we're able to show up in our quiet energy, the better we're able to really be in that peak place where we can show up as that calm, quiet presence, where we start to see our strengths that we have versus, the things that we've always compared ourselves to with other people. And we actually start to see that there are real benefits, that there are real strengths, there are real innate kind of personality aspects and skills and abilities and vision and quietness and all of the great things that come with being highly sensitive, introverted, empathic. But until we start to actually identify what's really going on for us, until we start to deal with things that we've maybe hidden away or pushed down inside of ourselves, we will continue to kind of react versus being able to interact or be proactive about what's going on for us in any given moment. And when we're actually able to see these things, then we're able to show up and shine as our beautiful, quiet presence. So I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know if you've noticed these things about yourself. if anyone's ever described you as having quiet energy, or even what that means to you. Please leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this and you want to hear more from me. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.